Hello, and welcome to today's event. My name is Brenda Holt, and I am the Associate State Director for Community Outreach for the Arizona State Office of AARP. We are the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence and nearly 38 million members across the nation and over 900,000 right here in Arizona. AARP works to strengthen communities and advocate for what matters most to families, be it health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. During the month of July, we are focused on reclaiming your health. As the nation emerges from more than a year under the COVID-19 pandemic, this pandemic has made it hard for all of us to take care of our mental and physical health. So as we begin to emerge into post-pandemic life, AARP wants to help you get healthier and stay healthy. We can help you take some small but meaningful steps to improve your overall health and mental well-being and to develop some good habits for your future. You can go to aarp.org/healthyliving for tips, tools, and resources that can help you reclaim your health today. You can also visit us at www.aarp.org/az to find out more about AARP. Enjoy your event. Thank you for attending. Be safe and be well.
Folks, welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Well, hello, good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to Arizona History Happy Hour. Thank you all so much for being here on this balmy July 15th. As we get ready for another fun night. Now, when we look at Arizona history, today there are two birthdays that are kind of cool. So one actually is Dr. Chandler, or Alexander John Chandler, better known as Ijai Chandler, who was the founder of Chandler, was actually born today back in 1859. He was the first veterinary surgeon for the territory of Arizona, and then he bought up about 80 acres of land just south of Mesa. And that is what became, back in 1912, became Chandler. Now, also today is Linda Ronstadt's 75th birthday. So, I mean, she's got so many albums, recorded so much in Tucson, and so I think when we're done tonight, I'm going to go throw on some Linda Ronstadt and probably some big band music. Also, back in 1883, the city of Chandler was incorporated back on July 15th. Now, it is also National Horse Lovers Day. So everything from Arabian horses to equine therapy and lots of horse ranches still around Arizona, even to stables where you can rent a horse and go for a horse ride across the state. As well as, just a couple days ago, they announced the Buckhorn Baths, one of my most favorite places in the valley, recently sold to a new owner who has plans on bringing it back to life. So look forward to seeing what that holds. At the very end of the show, I'm going to play a video we made actually with some GCU staff, just as the city was getting ready to go into a bond election to try and save the Buckhorn Baths. And now we're back to saving it again. So I will be playing that at the very end. So what can you expect tonight? Well, we're going to have a little bit of music, history. We're going to have a little bit of Little Arizona, as well as some show and tell, because as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff and I'm going to talk about something. As well as we have our trivia coming up, as well as we do have a beverage. I'm happy to say tonight, all the guests are sharing the same beverage tonight. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. And you're going to love our guests tonight. Just wait. So if this is your first time here, I want to introduce myself. My name is Marshall Shore. How did I get here? Well, a little over 21 years ago, I was working in a library in Brooklyn. Actually, it was this amazing Carnegie building right there, and decided to trade that all for a 1950 library in South Phoenix, where there was a rich oral tradition of how the community had gotten to where it was. And that was one of the things that kind of got me going on looking at that modern history of Arizona. I'm happy to say today they're in a pretty swanky building. And to get here, we loaded everything we owned into a big orange cube, a U-Haul. And, you know, they have the World International headquarters right here in Arizona. We promptly moved into this beautiful 1956 ranch. When we moved in, it was oh so many tones of beige. I'm happy to say now it is a much more simplified of two. 1, seafoam. 2, cantaloupe. Much better than beige. And so this is what my kitchen looks like today. All that original buttercream yellow tile, the matching in-wall oven with no window, as well as even the push buttons inset in the wall to work that matching stovetop. So the house is pretty much a time capsule. Now, as soon as we got here, all people kept saying was there was no history here. But I knew that wasn't true, because every time I went for an adventure, whether it was on a bike, on foot, in a car, I came face to face with so many amazing people, places, and stories. And then there's that post-war boom that I think in oh so many ways made the Arizona that we all know and love today. All those GIs that either were stationed here, trained here, or passed through on the way to somewhere else. And after World War II, they were moving here in huge numbers, and in some cases looking for a house just like mine. Now, I'm also known as a hip historian. Now, you might wonder, how do you get a name like that? Well, and what does it mean? Well, basically, I get to have fun with Arizona history. So, like, I'm going out to the MIM next week. We are talking about that first weekend of August, doing I think that's the first weekend, might be the second weekend. Basically doing a presentation with them about some Arizona music history. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Because, you know, we've got such a wide breadth of music history here. It's going to be fun to kind of touch on some of it. Also, I'm going to be in August 14th. I am going to be out at the Gilbert Historical Museum. And so that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And we're going to talk about basically how Arizona has become such a hotbed of vintage sign preservation, from neon and including things like the buckhorn baths. And also, you know, I'm going to be watching the Emmys early September. I just looked up and it's mid-September, and I get to find out whether I win an Emmy or not, which is kind of exciting. So more on that, as I guess I should actually find out what category we're nominated in. So kind of excited about that. Now, I see some of you have found the chat, and I see my friend Alan from Jersey is beaming all the way in to watch us. And so if you have any comments, please feel free to throw them in the chat. If you do something afterwards, you can always throw something to me on Facebook, on Instagram, or even good old-fashioned email. And if you are watching on Facebook, I will ask you to click on that little button at the bottom that says share, so that way all your friends can see the fun you're having with Arizona history. Sarah, I don't know what time of it's in my calendar. I was doing good enough to know the date at this point. I think it's probably, I want to say like 11 o'clock. I think both presentations out at MIM as well as out in Gilbert are in the morning. So that way it'd still be kind of cool out before it gets too hot. And so, you know, I talk about being from New York, but I really grew up in a little tiny town in the Midwest, a little farm town of about 25 people. And so one of the things I love to do is go explore little Arizona, all those small towns around. And so today we are going to talk about Peach Springs. Uh-oh, Anita, what? She's excited that Jersey's in the house. No counterfeiting allowed during this program. Sorry. So Peach Springs, which has a population just over 1,300 because it's 13 and 1. It is in Mojave County. And the Wallaby Indians have occupied this land for almost 2,000 years. This is where the west rim of the Grand Canyon and the river below meet. And it's long provided food for the tribal needs as well as medicinal needs as well. It is also the capital of the Wallaby Nation. And if you get out there, you can take a walk on the Grand Canyon Skywalk, which is a glass bottom bridge that is 4,000 feet above the canyon floor. Now, if you want something a little bit more down to earth, you can go visit the Wallaby Ranch and brush up on your cowboy skills or your cow person skills. And say you wanted maybe something that was be a little bit more wet, well, then you could go through the Wallaby River Runners and do some whitewater rafting in the canyon itself. Now, if you're looking for another adventure that might be even cooler, you can go visit the Grand Canyon Caverns, which is the largest dry cavern in the U.S. And you can even stay at the bottom of the canyon that's about 200 feet below ground level, where it's dark, it's cool, and there's one little rickety elevator that gets you down there. So I've yet to ever get down to actually I had friends who stayed in it, but I wasn't able to go when they got there. So I always look forward to spending some time. I really want to, I know you did, Deb, that you were the ones that put that together and I wasn't able to go. So I hope we can do that again sometime because that would be so much fun. Now, because it is Arizona History Happy Hour, you know, it wouldn't be a happy hour without some sort of a beverage. And so tonight we have what is called a Tamarindo Fizz from PJ over at the Valley Ho. And so over here is Bob, my silent bartender. And so PJ has created this cocktail that has all kinds of good stuff in it. It's actually a mocktail. And when one of our guests, Deedra, actually, we met yesterday at the Valley Ho and got to enjoy it. And it was so much fun because he did different variations of the same, using the same ingredients. So I'm intrigued to see what they're all having this evening. So there we have our Tamarindo Fizz. And it's got a little bit of orange juice, pineapple juice, tamarind syrup, cranberry, fresh lime, and ginger beer. Now, the ginger beer is unique because it also has a little bit of cayenne pepper in it to kind of help brighten things up. So, cheers with a Tamarindo Fizz. And I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of that this evening. And so I am so excited to bring on Tara and Deedra as our oh so special guest, and we are going to have so much fun. So let's see. Oh, let me get rid of that because he's done his job. All right. So good evening, you two.
Good evening.
Hi. We loved each other so much. We want to be in the same square.
Exactly. And so cheers with a Tamarindo Fizz.
Good stuff.
And if they want to know the ingredients again,
Your little to-go pack. I know that was he packed that so well for you to just tote it on out of there.
Yep, I was ready to go. And it's
So yeah, this is only the second time we've actually been able to have the guest and me have the same cocktail. So very excited that we're able to pull that off. Yeah, it's really good.
We have bar snacks.
Oh, see, I don't have any bar snacks.
We were serious about it. We're very serious about our happy hour.
The Muslims know how to bar.
Oh, that was a hard one. Maybe not.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves?
I'm on the right. She's on the left. I don't know. I don't even know.
I'm like, which way are you?
I know, because you can't really say that because this doesn't do a mirror image.
Yes,
it's kind of flips. So it's
but it's a good lesson on perspective.
Oh, it is. And I've learned you don't do your hair in this because it's like no matter what you do, you touch in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
The right and left, it depends on your perspective.
It does. So
you go.
So he says, so Deedra, tell us about yourself.
I'm a lot of fun in a bar.
Unexpected.
We like to have a good time. We like information. We like to be active. Tara is the hacktivist. She's the love hacktivist. I love politics and I love information. I love research. I love sharing information. I love common sense. I love logic. I love, just being present and making the world a better place. And sometimes that takes friction, and I'm not afraid of friction. So,
right.
And I'm the other Deedra. When we were doing the whole campaign thing, they got it really confused. So I'm the other Deedra. My name is Tara Ijai, and I'm the founder of the Love Glasses Revolution. That's why you see all of the hearts. And I'm also about making the world a better place, loving people. And now my journey is making sure self-love catches up with my outward love of people. I love fun and laughing and having a good time. And I was just laughing about, I'm also from a small town. It was so relatable and part of what we loved about traveling all over Arizona. I grew up in upstate New York, town of 3,000. The mayor was the barber, and it was quite a ride. And so Arizona's been a fun adventure. I've been out here since 96. So
I've been here since 98. So she did beat me a couple of years, but I do have my signature pair of love glasses that I wore on the campaign.
Yep.
And I also wear in my daily life.
Indeed.
I like bar snacks. She's all about the snacks.
That is so funny. I'm like, dang, we should have planned better so that way I could have had the same snacks here.
I know. Yep, we'll have to figure it out for you.
We'll work on that. So, all right. So you guys came up with some really fun trivia.
We hope so.
And so when we do trivia, it's like, so what we do is, so we don't do like Deedra's bar snacks. Our trivia is not like most bar trivia where it's all about the answers and no one cares about the why. So we're going to go through the questions. Then we'll take a little bit of an Arizona music break. And then we'll come back and you two will go through some of those answers and explain to us.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and tell us some stories.
No, we got stories.
Indeed.
We got rocks too.
And snacks.
Break bread.
Indeed. Now you can keep track of your score. Some folks do it in the chat. Some folks do it on a pad and paper. My friend Will sent me a photo. He had actually kept track of it on a Sharpie on his leg. So whatever makes you happy, you go for it. We pass no judgment here.
That is true.
All right. So back in 2016, Tara started the Love Glasses Revolution right here in Arizona. What other movement started in Arizona as well? Was it A, Ben's Bells, B, Red for Ed, C, kindness bracelets, or D, the kind bus? So one of those other movements started right here in Arizona. I'll let you pick which one, because it's one of those four. All right, Tara and Deedra traveled how many Arizona miles for the U.S. Senate campaign in 16 months? Wow, either way, that's a lot of miles. So was it A, 25,000 miles, B, 55,000 miles, C, 65,000 miles, or D, 75,000 miles? All right. So how much driving do you think these two did heading across the state? And question 3. Oh, Deidre, this was all about you. Deidre is originally from what state? A, Alabama, B, Arkansas, C, Arizona, D, Abboud. All right. So where do you think Deidre is from? Now, if you heard her talk earlier, that might help give it away.
It might.
It might.
It's all about the vowels.
All right. Question 4. Who brought camels to Arizona? A, Haji Ali, B, Ali Abboud, C, Asif Mandiva, or D, Ali Abawa? I hope I didn't butcher those too bad. So, all right. So I know some folks are going to get this right because we've talked about him a few weeks ago. So we shall see. You get bonus points if you keep watching. All right. Question 5. Aviators Charles Lindbergh and Emil Earhart dedicated Arizona's first commercial airport in what city? Was it A, Flagstaff, B, Kingman, C, Phoenix, D, Tucson? So where was the first commercial airport in Arizona? And these two visited that airport. All right. So question 6. Who follows daylight savings time in Arizona? A, school teachers, B, the Arizona Patriot Movement, C, Zoroasters, or D, the Navajo Nation? So one of those groups follows daylight savings time right here in Arizona. Meanwhile, the rest of us don't. All right. Moving on to question 7. What place was twice the Arizona Territory capital? Was it A, Phoenix, B, Tucson, C, Prescott, or D, Fort Whipple? What place was twice the territorial capital of Arizona? See, and I like Pam. She says some of our choices are too funny. I'm like, that was the whole goal. We actually were talking about that last night as we were doing them.
She's our people. She gets us.
Exactly. All right. Question 8. What is Deidre's favorite food? A, cheeseburgers, B, superfood salads, C, hot dogs, or D, chicken any style? I didn't get a good look at those bar snacks. That might be a clue.
No, right?
I should have taken a better look at those bar snacks, because maybe they were little hot dogs. Maybe they were little bits of chicken.
Yeah.
If everything I liked was my favorite, I wouldn't have one husband.
I don't know what I'm Marshall and the next question, please.
I can like something without falling in love, man. I only have one love. Only one love out of those 4.
I'm gonna start
Indeed.
drinking heavier.
And bar snacks is not one of those choices. All right. Which one of these cities did Tara and Deidre not perform an official comedy routine? A, Tucson, B, Wilcox, C, Patagonia, or D, Phoenix? So where did they not perform an official comedy routine?
Official, right? Official keyword. Okay.
Official
right.
as opposed to, we had a good time. We had a good time everywhere.
Well, exactly. I know you did. All right. So then how many books have Tara and Deidre published combined together? Is it A1, B2, C3, or D4? All right. And then we have question 11, or a bonus question. What Hollywood movie filmed in Arizona did Tara and Deidre participate in, and Deidre's husband had a cameo appearance? Was it A, Little Miss Sunshine, B, The Kingdom, C, Shawshank Redemption, or D, Stargate? So I'm intrigued to see the answer. Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't know you were all a bunch of celebrities, more than I knew you were celebrities. The Hollywood type. So that must be some of those Hollywood bar snacks you're having right now.
Yeah.
All right. While you're busy gathering your answers, we are going to do a little bit of Arizona music history. And so we are going to talk about Mr. Las Vegas, Wayne Newton. He was the first person inducted into the Arizona Music Hall of Fame. He is known as Mr. Las Vegas, but his family arrived here in the early 50s because Wayne had asthma. And so this is back when so many folks would move here for our clean, dry air. And he started performing. He performed on Lou King's Arizona Rangers TV show. Back in the day, Bill Johnson's Big Apple down in Buren actually had a radio station, and they would perform there. He got his big break over at the Westward Ho because Jackie Gleason had a show and had him on, and that launched a recording career for him. He then went on and was one of his first big gig was at the Flamingo Hotel. So now let's get ready for some answers. All right. Oh, just as Deidre walks away.
Oh, she's not going far. She's going to.
Okay.
It was time for a drink refill.
Another round.
All right. So, question 1, 2016, you started Love Glasses Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
What other movement started here in Arizona? Ben's Bells.
Ben's Bells.
Now, I know they started off in Tucson.
Yep. We did.
And then I think they moved up. I think they also have a branch up here as well.
I think they do too. And they spread, kindness and love wherever they go. So it's a pretty cool mission, making the world a better place. They have a great story. If you go to bensbells.org, you can, find it.
There we go.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, hey, there's 2 of us.
Yeah.
I just want to sit in the same square.
So yeah, so I'll do this from now on when I do that so that we can squeeze both of you in.
I know we were going to be separate, but then the time constraints. So we're like,
and we're better together.
We are.
I have no doubt. All right. So question 2.
And our drinks are refilled.
See, the important things.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
All right. So how many miles did you 2 drive during Deidre's Senate campaign?
Too damn many.
Wow. 75,000 miles?
I can't believe her car still runs.
So here's the deal. I was driving a 2018 car in 2017, and I still have not, even with the pandemic of not driving for a year and a half, pretty much, I still am like
Over
2
your
or
year,
3
right?
years ahead of the average mileage.
We went everywhere, but it was amazing.
Huh?
We have a cool state.
So where did you go?
Oh boy.
You know, it would be much easier to talk about where we didn't go.
Right.
Wow. I would say with that many miles, I mean, you must have seen so much of Arizona and
Yeah,
the beauty of Arizona.
We went to every county in Arizona, 14 of the 15 counties. And the only county I missed was Greenlee County, which as January the following year, even though I wasn't in a campaign anymore, I went to an event in Greenlee just to make sure I went to all 15 counties.
To get your card punched.
Yeah.
For that free salad.
Yeah, no, I want to, I can't say I met somebody from every county if I haven't been to Greenlee.
And she had fans in Greenlee. So
Yeah.
we had supporters.
Greenlee is the smallest county. A lot of fun, a lot of history. They actually do quite a bit there, considering that it's used to be a mining town, and there's a lot of history around mining and disasters, and really great people down there.
Indeed. That's what I found is just kind of traveling across Arizona. Great people everywhere you go. I mean, there's so many great stories, so much good, cool history. And every little burg you stop in, there's always something.
And if you're open to it, then, you can, man, one time we were driving down the highway, I just stopped for gas. We were coming back from somewhere up north, which is, always like 5 hours away. And we were coming back like midnight. And we stop off at the gas station to fill up on drinks and gas and everything, non-alcoholic beverages, of course. And we ended up making friends with the people inside, the people outside. Another time we were driving up from the south, and we'd stopped at the gas station. Gas stations are themed. And we ended up—
a lot of snacks.
We ended up stopping, and there was this green motorcycle that pulled up, a beautiful, beautiful motorcycle, one of the most beautiful motorcycles. And it was beautiful green and bright. And we made friends with them, and they lived in on the west side of Maricopa County. And we made friends with them. Tara's still friends with them on Facebook. I mean, we everywhere we went, we were making friends.
We collect people. We collect.
No, they let us. I should have sent you that picture. They let us sit up on the motorcycle. Until you asked, the answer is no. And I asked. I mean, it was a beautiful piece. I wanted to get up on top of that thing, and we took a picture, and it was beautiful.
Oh my gosh! Please share that with me. I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So we now get to learn about your accent, Deidre, and where it's from, because it's Arkansas.
It is from Arkansas, born and raised. People all used to ask me, where are you, or go back to where you, they wouldn't tell, they would ask, they would help. Go back to where you came from. And I'm like, Arkansas is still the U.S. Every day. Every day.
But that also explains, I think, your love of gas stations, because I know when I've traveled to the South, it's like all the gas stations have like the best biscuits and gravy. I mean, they've got some of the best food.
Until you can't have pork. And then sausage gravy is a problem. And I actually, my second favorite food is biscuits and gravy, which, I had to perfect gravy without pork, which took some time, but I have done so.
Oh, see, we should chat offline about that. I was using falafel, so you get that little crunch.
I don't need the crunch. I need the flavor.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely talk about that offline, because that was when I became vegetarian. That was my biggest thing. It was like going, oh, biscuits and gravy. Oh my gosh, it's now something I can't have.
Yeah. By the way, my biscuits and gravy have the flavor, and they don't have the meat. So technically, my biscuits and gravy is vegetarian.
Yeah, no, well, as I assumed. So that's why I was like, oh, we should have breakfast.
Yeah, you can do it with beef, but it's I don't care about the meat. I don't care about the crunch. I just want the flavor.
Right. Understandable. All right. So, who brought camels to Arizona? And it was up in Quartzsite. It was Haji Ali.
Quartzsite was so much fun.
Yep.
We were there more than once. And one time we were there, Al Jazeera, the television station, came to town and they wanted to follow us around on the campaign for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. And it just so happened when they were coming, I mean, because I was like, you know, we got a schedule, you follow or not. And
Yeah.
they came when we were going back to Quartzsite. And so they wanted to film, and in order to do so, I don't remember, we had to have more than one car, I think. Anyway, they put Tara in this monster truck, and they're like, could you drive this?
And I'm like, yeah, we can. Muslim women drive. We drive. We drive them around.
Even monster trucks. But yeah, we went to Quartzsite, and every time we had gone, it had actually been really positive and, you know, on point, like, you know, talking to people.
Yeah.
That particular time was different because it had gotten so much publicity, and because it had gotten local publicity that Al Jazeera was coming. You know, now we had not 2 flaming problems, but we had not 1 but 2, right? Like the Muslim hijabis coming, and now the Muslim scarf wearing person is coming, and then the foreign television station is coming. So, you know, it must be a takeover. But yeah, I mean, they met us with like these major flags, and it was pretty contentious. And I actually went out there and met with them, and talked to them, and tried to find common ground. And while, you know, we didn't become best buds, their steam got let go, and I think that they left better than I found them.
Nice. And Quartzsite is such a fun little town. I mean, you've got the yacht club right there where you can stay in a trailer or a boat. They actually have been getting a lot of press lately because they were in an Oscar-winning movie, Nomadland.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love how with Haji Ali, they're actually now, or his name was shortened to Hi Jolly. They've done so much around town to try and raise awareness of who he was.
And by the way, Haji in Arabic just means someone who performed Hajj in their life. It's a term of respect. So just like we would say Mr. or Sir.
Oh.
But this is only given to people who have performed Hajj, gone on the religious pilgrimage one time in their life. They get that designation. And he's even more interesting, by the way, because he, I think, converted out of being a Muslim in the end and changed his name, and it's a Latino name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, basically he was the one that took care of the camels when no one else knew what to do with them.
Well, not only that, he's the one that the U.S. military contracted to bring these camels for this project, and he, you know, came and did all, you know, got the camels, took care of the camels, you know, started training people on camels, and then all of a sudden the U.S. military is like, yeah, I feel like this is going to go anywhere. We're done, and just release the camels, and Haji Ali, he continued to care about those camels, and rumor has it that occasionally out in the desert somewhere you can come across a camel. They haven't all died out yet, but the extinction has pretty much got them.
Wild camel.
You don't, you know, I mean, there's only so many camels. They can only have so many kids, and at some point they're having
they're running into issues because so there's not enough camels to play camel games.
You know, we got to have cross pollination, right?
Exactly.
We're here to teach you.
All right. So question 5, Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart dedicated what Arizona's first commercial airport in what city? And it was B. Kingman. And what I thought was really cool was actually just a week ago, it was July 8th back in 29 when they did that.
Wow.
Yep. Kingman was a lot of fun.
Yep.
We had so much fun in Kingman. The first time we went to the Mojave Fair, and Mojave is the county where Kingman is located. And, we drove up there and pulled up into the fairgrounds, which is, all gravel. And we park and get out of the car, and there's a Confederate flag and a U.S. flag and a Confederate flag and a U.S. flag and a Confederate flag and a U.S. flag and a Confederate flag and a U.S. flag. And then this humped up pickup truck comes, barreling through the parking lot, and he's got flags on, Confederate flag and U.S. flag, bigger than the truck. And, Tara and I look at each other, and we're like, we're home. like we've been here, she's from upstate New York. I'm from Arkansas. These are our people. We got this.
I'm scared.
And we went in and basically we were told by a lot of people that, we kind of just keep to ourselves and let people come and talk to us if they want to, because people are real mean up here. And we were like, told. Yeah, we were like, no.
That's not the case.
Let's go out to the people. Lie. Right. And we went out and had my favorite food and met so many people and brought people together. We were like, people were inside the place where you have like tables and stuff. And we were like meeting people outside and bringing them to meet the cool people we met inside. And, we were
dancing to the country music. We were having a good time. We ate ice cream. We did all the things.
Most importantly, I had my favorite food and had cool people. So there you go.
Good. I'm glad you didn't give it away.
Yeah. And we collected a bunch of Kingman friends that we still have.
Yeah.
I love Kingman. I mean, it's like they're doing such a great job in preserving some vintage signage. They've got some great neon up there. Some of that downtown signage, they're making it happen, which is great.
Yes.
All right. So who follows daylight savings time in Arizona? It is the Navajo Nation.
Yes, that's good to know now.
So it sounds like there's probably a story there.
Might be a story there. There's the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Nation have a lot of stories.
Yeah, we got about 10 of those, and they're all great. But the daylight savings time, we made an appointment to be at a certain place at a certain time, and a couple of things happen. One, we get in the car to go, and we have coordinates.
Like
not an address.
Longitude, latitude.
Oh.
So a lot of Navajo Nation doesn't have addresses, which is a problem for several things, including vote by mail and being at the right precinct and IDs and lots of problems. But for us, the problem was literally my manager had to go onto Google Maps and locate the building that we were going to and pin it, and then send me a link with the longitude and latitude so that my car could tell me where to go. And that was one. So two, and by the way, that works. Who knew? Two,
we arrived.
Yeah. Two, we get in the car and, we've given ourselves like lots of cushion time, to arrive early and meet with people, stop for gas, maybe stop for lunch, we're good. It's going to take us 3 hours or 5 hours, I think, to get there.
Yeah.
And we've given ourselves a good hour and a half cushion, because you never know. And get in the car and put the coordinates in. I'd looked up how long the drive was to Navajo Nation, and get in the car, and it tells me that it's going to take me, that I'm going to be there 6 hours later. And I'm like, how could this be? I've looked this up a dozen times, and come to find out, it was only going to take me 5 hours to get there. Unfortunately, you lose an hour because they're doing daylight savings time. So, we were concerned. A lot less stops along the way, no lunch. And we loved lunch because we got to connect with people at whatever restaurant we happened to stop at. But, we had to skip it that day.
And is that the one we got there and they almost overthrew the...
No, that's another one. So another one we went, and we go into the place, and we, ahead of time made it that contacted them, and my manager had set up that we were going to come and give a talk, and just let people know who we were, and
we called.
So we get there.
We got there. There was not a heck of a lot of people, but everybody that was there supposed to be there, and they said we weren't scheduled. They had a miscommunication. So
the leadership,
they didn't want us to speak, and everybody that was there, like they were going to overthrow it. They were like, "Let them speak, let them speak." Like we're like, it was hilarious.
Yeah, we were like, we actually didn't mean to have a government overthrow just to be able to give you a 5-minute introduction to who I am, wanting to, for you to vote for me.
It was an experience.
But I mean, they were just amazing people, and really amazing people. We had for that one, we had a guy drove in from the edge of New Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Because he followed me on social media, and he just wanted to meet me in person, and this was the closest I had ever been to an event.
Okay.
Which happened again in another place.
U.S. Senate campaigners did not go out there.
No U.S. Senate candidate other than me has ever been to Navajo Nation.
Wow.
Now there have been people who, I think McCain may have once. I know he went to Kingman, and he was the only one that went to Kingman, but no one who, even people who went when they were running for Congress, or for House and covered Navajo Nation, even they didn't go back if they were running for U.S. Senate. So it was, it was a big deal. We had several times in Navajo Nation where people drove, hours away, because you have no idea how 5 hours from here to get to Navajo Nation, but even within Navajo Nation, it's hours to get places.
Right.
And we had so many times when people were following us on social media and came to our events on the Navajo Nation because it was the closest event for them. And then we had another one where we got to the event, and it went great. And then we were leaving, so we put in the GPS my home, address, and it tells us, we're on this highway, and then it says continue on this highway, and we cross one highway. We're on a highway. We're on a road anyway. And we cross a highway, and it says right ahead is the highway. Keep going straight. And we go on this highway, and it's like a dirt road. And we're like, this has got to get better. And U.S. highway. And it was not only a dirt road for about an hour and a half, but I thought we were going to die.
It was getting so dark, and it was just
no cell service. The roads were absolutely atrocious. There were tunnels within the road. I mean, so much erosion. It was a danger to mankind.
So unfair.
Tara was doing her eulogy. I swear to God,
I was doing my eulogy.
And we made it out the other side. And then I had to do about $500 worth of body work on my car.
Yep.
As a result of that.
Wow.
And
it was getting dark.
Yeah.
It was getting dark. So anyway,
I have, even in the chronicles where, because I really talked a lot during the campaign about really how the infrastructure on the Navajo Nation is just an embarrassment to a first world country. And there's this huge argument, right? So the Navajo Nation needs help, right? And so the state's like, well, even though you're in our state, you're federal land. And then the federal is like, well, even though you're on federal land, you're a sovereign nation. So everybody's like passing the buck, like not wanting to get anything done. And in the chronicles, people used to say, you shouldn't talk about that. And, maybe they don't want anything, modern. And I'm like, yeah, they want modern.
They want safety.
Yeah, they want their independence. Yeah. But they don't get to collect the taxes like the federal government does. They can't afford to pay for these things when the federal government's the one that's, taking a lot of the money. So federal government has a responsibility to make their infrastructure, basic, second world country. And they really do want it. It is not a question that they don't want to modernize. They just want to be both modern and free. I mean, we can all understand that.
We can.
Indeed, we can. All right. So question 7. What place was twice the Arizona territorial capital? And it is Prescott. There was a little period where it went to Tucson in between, but then it came right back to Prescott. And you can actually visit the governor's mansion for the territorial governor as part of the Charlotte Hall Museum. So did you guys have fun up in Prescott?
We did. A couple of things about Prescott. But before that, I just want to say that Fort Whipple, which was one of the wrong answers, number D. Fort Whipple, probably nobody's heard of that. That was actually the very first capital of the territory of Arizona. Prescott was second. Then it went to Tucson. Then it went to Prescott. And then it went back to Phoenix. And by the way, the reason why it went to Tucson was because it was after the Civil War, and they wanted to assure people that the Confederates were no longer in control of the south of Arizona, that they trusted, that we're all moved on. So they decided to put the capital back down in Tucson. Then they decided to put it back into Prescott. That wasn't feasible because it was so hard to get to, especially in the winter. So they decided to move it down to Phoenix. Speaking of snow, we went to Prescott one time.
Oh, yeah.
And we had so much fun in Prescott every time we went to Prescott. But one time we went to Prescott, also had a really good time. But when we were leaving, we walked outside and suddenly there was like ice and snow everywhere, like you were in the middle of some mountains. And there was, I always check the weather before I go anywhere. And there was nothing, not even about rain. There, nothing, no participation. Precipitation was supposed to happen. And it was this major snowstorm. And
we were Facebook Live.
sliding all over the road.
So we probably got it on camera when we hit the guy in front of us. But that guy did help us get out of the highway. So
it didn't cause any damage, but he did. Him and his wife or girlfriend, they were super sweet, and they helped us, move along. And we did get home safely and had a lot of fun, and made everybody who watched us have a lot of fun too. Even though
Facebook Live an accident, yeah. We're fine.
It was crazy. I mean, it also reminded us of our childhood because, we got snow where we come from.
Well, and that happened to me as well up in Prescott. I was up there doing a presentation and came out of the library, and there was all this snow and it was raining. And so it was now freezing. And so I just got this great little 1930s hotel and spent the night. I was like, I'm not gonna risk it.
Well, we had milestones. We said, if this kind of thing happens or that kind of thing happens, then we'll take the first hotel. And when we got through Prescott Valley, which kind of gets to the end of the hotel availability, I was like, Tara, this is it. It's either we stop now or we go home because this is last call. There's no more hotels after. I've been here enough. I know there's no hotels after this. And she's like, I'm willing to go. I'm like, okay, we got this.
Wow, you were more daring than I was. I'm like, I'm not going to chance it. It's like,
I once found a snake in my bathroom and took that baby and got rid of it. I don't have time for stuff, Called my husband with I took a picture of the snake first before I decided to take care of the problem. I took a picture because if you don't take a picture, it didn't happen.
Right, exactly.
My husband's like, okay, I'm married, I'm master. like I don't got anything to worry about.
We're all called during the apocalypse. I'm not trying to do it, but anyway.
Well, now I know who to call if I wind up with a snake in my tub.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you call the professionals.
Because I'm not going to try and get rid of that snake in my tub.
Yeah, you call professionals. I
exactly. I'll be like, hey, Deedra, I got a snake in my tub.
It was in my way. It was in my bathroom, in my bedroom. And I was not going to be forced out of my territory just because the snake decided to make it his. And I didn't have time to wait for somebody.
Yeah, I'd wait.
Now, if he'd been in the other end of the house, maybe I'd have called somebody, because it's all about comfort and convenience to me.
Right. Oh my gosh. And so now we get to find out what is Deedra's favorite food. And
They
it's
knew.
hot dogs.
I feel like they knew. This was a great story because when you were talking about Mr. Chandler's birthday, in Chandler, Randy Walters had Wimpy's Paradise, and he was on TV, and it was talking about his great sign of love and inclusion and all sorts of things. So,
And his sign was free hugs.
and just loving on people. And during that time, I'm going to be honest, we could have used some free hugs. And so we rallied. There were 3 of us Muslim women dressed like this, and we went to his restaurant.
Which are not all of our friends, just so
Oh,
happens.
yeah. No, it just was the time. And so we walked in, and Randy will tell you he was like so confused because he didn't know what to feed us, because he thought that we don't eat meat, so he didn't know what to do. And he always laughs because he tells the story that after our free hugs, we all got like Pittsburgh Willies, which were these crazy hot dogs and half-pound, like were ridiculous. But it was.
And I told him straight up, I mean, I'm here for the hot dogs. He was
thought we ate hummus and falafel.
He was like, I'm not really sure, have you seen the menu? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen the menu. I'm here for the hot dogs. And he was like, from then on, we got this.
Yeah, it was fun. It was the best.
Because I had to have beef hot dogs, and they had beef hot dogs, obviously. Yeah, we have remained friends with him. He has a book coming out.
Hamburgers, hot dogs, and hugs.
That are different stories, hamburgers, hot dogs, and hugs. So they're different stories about people who drifted into his restaurant and life-changing experiences. So he's a treasure.
Indeed. And there he is again. And I think that middle picture is when you all first met him.
That is the day we met
first
him.
adventure.
That's me, Deedra, and our friend Christy Sabah, who actually is the one that saw it on TV and told us we got to go there. And we're like, yeah.
Yeah, because we're kind of, if you tell us, we got to do something, we're like, okay, when? I don't, some days not a day in the week for me. Tomorrow is. Well, today. So I have a shirt on in that picture, which is another story. On Facebook, I have a whole album about all my t-shirts. Anytime I wear a t-shirt, it has a message on it. So I wear my values on my chest.
Yep. It was so fun.
So one of the favorite ones of Randy's is equal rights isn't fewer rights or less rights for you. It's not pie, with a picture of pie. Equal rights for all is not less rights for you. It's not pie.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Indeed. It is not pie. All right. So which city did you 2 not perform an official comedy routine?
So we had someone in Tucson originally reach out to us, and they have a comedy club down there, and it's an improv. And the way that one worked was I tell a story, and a short story, and then they just make a comedy routine,
hilarious,
like launching off of whatever my story is. So it's like, an hour of me telling like 5-minute stories, and then them launching into, and they don't know what my stories are going to be. Like it's a blank.
Wow.
So I get up,
brilliant.
I tell 5-minute stories, and then they do 5 minutes of an improv around or launching from that story. And then Phoenix, a comedy club in Phoenix, then reached out and asked if we would do the same, which we did. And then Patagonia, they asked me and Tara to come and entertain them with our stories. And we're all about edutainment. It's a beautiful word and a beautiful concept. And so that's what we did. We went down and just told stories and just lit up everybody.
Nice.
Bar snacks.
And it was a bar, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying there were probably lots of bar snacks.
It was a restaurant in the day and a bar at night. We got there when it was a restaurant. We ate dinner, and then it was a bar. And that's where we told it. And then we Facebook Lived it. We Facebook Live everything. So we know it was funny, even though everybody was probably drunk.
Okay. You never know. You never know what's coming.
And there you have it, folks. Some edutainment right there.
Can you imagine us drunk?
Oh my God. No.
If this is sober, oh my God.
Where's the lie?
All right. So how many books do you two share between the two of you?
So the first one,
3 books. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the first one, Tara wrote a story within a group of stories. The second one I wrote, and Tara wrote my foreword. And the third one, there are 52 very diverse authors from every background, every life experience, pretty much every category really that humans kind of fall in. And so Tara gathered all of these people. She's an extraordinary people gatherer. And she gathered all these people and basically just said, write a story, and your launch word is love. Take that wherever it takes you. And they're just, I wrote a story in there. She wrote the foreword, and it is not unicorns and rainbows.
It is not.
But I mean, there are unicorns and rainbows, is there? But it's real life, real love. It's how love shows up in unexpected ways, and it's honoring that. And the campaign chronicles, right. The campaign chronicles is just the different conversations I had with people along the campaign trail, and they're funny, they're informative.
They'll make you laugh. They'll make you cry.
They'll make you pull your hair out.
They will.
Sometimes you're
or
just
your
like
scarf off.
Like humans, like talk to other humans that way, like in their face, like
Yeah.
for real. Yeah, they do. Y'all just didn't know until I started Facebook Living and printing books.
It's informative.
All right. And now that we have 2 Hollywood types on the show, what movie have you all been participated in? And Deedra, your husband, even had a cameo appearance.
So this is the most handsome man alive. Just kidding. No, I'm not. I mean that seriously. He's mine. So there is that. But I'm not. It's not just that I'm biased. It's also true. So, Tara actually. So somebody went in. She used to have a store that sold some of the accessories that we Muslim women wear, and
the costume designer came knocking on my door one day, and they're like, "Hey, we're getting ready to make a movie here. Can we get this clothing?" And they came in, and that was a great year.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
So then she told them
the movie.
They said, I think they were looking for a consultant.
They were definitely looking for a consultant, and more around Iraq, I think. And your husband is being Iraqi. It made just such a common sense thing. So I'm like, I got someone. So she was actually involved in the film, like
from the beginning to end. I was hired pretty much full time for the entire movie from 2 departments. One was wardrobe, so the few women that are within the movie, I dressed them, and then the other one was extras. So I recruited extras. I checked extras in. I checked extras out. I made sure all the extras were where and when they were supposed to be where and when. We had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I had mentioned, I think, I don't even know how it came about, but something came about, that my husband in the movie, and they were like, oh yeah, we could do that. We could put him in as an extra, but like more than an extra. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool, So I did all this stuff, and my husband came in to do the movie, and his part, it was supposed to be a particular part, a non-speaking role, which is fine. And then they ended up wanting to have one of the other characters who didn't have a speaking role. They wanted to give him a speaking role. And that person didn't speak Arabic, even though he either was or appeared Arab. He was Arabic, actually, but he didn't speak Arabic. So they came and they said, does your husband speak Arabic? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, we'd like him to have this other role where he speaks. And I'm like, cool. So they do this whole thing. He's in a scene with Jennifer Garner. His name is Ollie. Another one of the big actors' name is Ollie. And then the other guy that Ollie took his place, his name was Hussein or Hassan. And so the director says, Ollie, say this phrase. So the big actor, Ollie, is like, says this phrase. And he's like, no, the other Ollie. So then my husband says this phrase. And he's like, no, the other Ollie. And so the guy who's not Ollie, says the phrase. And in the end, when all this was over, Jennifer Garner walks up. And she gets my husband by the arm, and she gets the Hassan or Hussein, whatever his name is, by the arm. And she takes him to the director and she says, this is Hassan and this is Ollie. And I mean, it was so important for her, which is, a really great character trait, but it was so important to her that the director understood that everybody's not named Ollie. And, so we really had a good time on the movie. And a couple of things, interesting enough, I had signed on to the movie and I asked them for a copy of the script because I'm involved with this movie and I'm inviting people to be part of this movie. I kind of wanted to know what's the movie, where's it going? And so they give me the script and I read it, and it was a really good movie. And then it had this ending that was just so stereotypically lazy. So I went to the assistant director and I said, yeah, this is a problem. I don't know that I can be involved with this movie because what were you thinking with this ending? Like, you have all these good characters and all this stuff. I mean, the end of this movie is just dumb.
She did, Marshall.
And so he said, well, I'll talk to the director. So come to find out that the writers and the directors had already been talking to this for whatever reason. And so they gave me the new script, and it was not the old stupid thing, and it was normal. So we had that. And then a couple of times within the movie itself, they had done some stereotypically dumb things that Muslims do that Muslims actually don't do. Only in US movies do they do that. And I had gone to the assistant director and I said, this is unacceptable. I mean, it's not hard to do it right. And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, this is what you're doing, which I know they always do this in the movies, but it's dumb. It's not true. Nobody does that. Like zero, not even dumb Muslims do that. And he said, I told him, how to fix it. And he took it to the director and they did fix it. I actually got that movie changed twice.
Yep. And I got a Jiffy steamer. And that's all I care about.
Yeah,
which is important if you have lots of clothing because you want to be able to just steam it.
Yeah. They wanted her to steam the clothing before they picked them up.
Yeah.
And then in the end, she's like, "Do you want the steamer back?" And they're like, "No, you can keep it."
I did it kind of like, "Do you want the steamer back?" I let them know.
It's already hidden in the back, so you'll never find it, even if you say yes. So
it was a good time, and then we got to go to the what's it called? We
went to the after party.
No,
it's the wrap up party.
I don't know.
The wrap party.
Something.
The wrap party.
I went
to the premiere. Do what?
Oh, and the premiere.
I went to the premiere.
Wow.
Yeah, I traveled to LA and did the premiere.
I don't know if I know that she went to the premiere. I might just.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Tara, but see, what happened was, if you don't ask, the answer is no. So I got the email of the director and emailed him and said, I'd like to go to the premiere because I was, I was working in 2 departments, and he emailed me back and said, I mean this in the nicest way. And he's such a nice guy. I could tell you stories. But he was like, I mean this in the nicest way, but, we can't let everybody in the world come. And we only have so much space. And so what we finally made an executive decision that only people in California would be able to go. People who worked on the movie in California, and they're from California, would be able to go to the premiere. Nobody that is from Arizona would be able to go, or any other state.
Oh.
And I'm like, cool. I mean, you have a standard. That's good. You have these parameters. You've given me the parameters. Makes sense. So 2 days later, he emails me back and he says, okay, so evidently the director of one of the departments that you worked in, one of her friends also worked a little bit on the movie, and she invited her friend in Arizona. So since she invited her friend and you asked me, I'm going to tell you that you can come too, because fair's fair. But if you could do me a favor and not tell anybody else in Arizona.
That's why I didn't go. Okay.
I like how you're finding about it now, only because of top secret.
Now I get it. Okay. No, I wasn't involved from really the time just after the clothing part. It was, she was involved the whole time. It was much fun though.
Getting up at 3:00 in the morning and going into, because they did it on the 202 before the 202 was open.
Oh.
And everything was backwards. It was really cool. And I'm such a rule follower in some ways that you're not allowed to have your phone and take pictures. And so I didn't take pictures the whole time. I mean, I had backstage access to everything and all of the actors. Now I took no pictures of anything. And then after the movie was over, I found all these people I'd gotten involved with the movie as extras. They had like reels. But they did backwards on the 202. And so, if you're going north, let's say, they did it south, and they did that because there's signs, on the overpasses that's, say.
Oh, okay. So that way you didn't see the signs.
And so they didn't want to see the sign. They wanted their own signs in Arabic because they're supposed to be in I think, Saudi. And so they were able to put their signs on the opposite way. And working in the movies is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've got friends that have been in so many extras in a variety of movies that is like, it's like a family reunion. They said when they go to watch an old movie, because it's like there's half the family in the background scenes.
To this day, I look for the name of the two people who were over the departments that I worked in. And I know a lot of movies that they were over the departments in previous movies before The Kingdom. But I've never seen their name since. And to this day, I look.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Now, I love how people already know what's expected, because I see Sarah's already said she got 7 out of 11. But I always tell people, it's not so much the answers, but the stories that we shared. That's what makes us all winners. And that is indeed true.
7-Eleven was a big store in Arkansas. Way bigger than Circle K. Which, by the way, I went to Circle K today, and they have self-checkouts now.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just like, never expected to see it at Circle K. That's different.
Yeah.
That is different.
Well, it's so funny, because when you talk about Tara being a people collector, we actually met because of your son.
Oh,
remember? Yeah. It was like, he came to model in a fashion show that we were putting on.
Yes, he was a model, and I profusely ran around telling everyone he gets that from my side. Yes.
So it's like from that meeting, here we are years later, still chatting away.
Yes, because then we got to be in your fashion show, your eyewear show, and Zaid, he hasn't been doing modeling. He's been modeling pandemic behavior. What does that look like? He's been modeling gaming.
Oh, well, there you go.
The boy has a full-time job, is impressing his boss, showing up every day, impressing everybody at the company. But, let's do a blurt.
He's doing great. And I hope the pandemic stuff is over soon. He gets back into where he wants to be. That's what he wants. It just kind of slowed everything down, right?
Right. Very much so. Well, I want to say thank you, too, for coming on. I'm so glad we could share beverages together. I'm not holding against you that we didn't get to share snacks as well. So cheers.
Cheers. Oh, cheers. I drank mine.
She drank her first and her second.
Well, because it's so good.
It's really good.
I mean, that's what I love about working with PJ is he knows what he's doing. And so, I mean, someone even earlier tonight said they met up with PJ at the Valley Ho and had amazing cocktails. I'm like, well, yeah.
Okay, and let's just say one more thing. I'm making Tara's third round.
Wow, but call me out. Also, I'm going to start hanging out at the bar. I don't care.
See the fruit on there?
Yeah.
So PJ, they dry them themselves. And so when he made my to-go ingredients, he sent us the toppers that go with it, which is the dried lemon.
Yeah, dried orange. Yeah.
Dried orange. Yeah. Like, that's extra, right?
I mean, it's so great because I mean, it's really a full package. I mean, it's like you get home and you can make it look just like he did.
Yeah, I like this. This is a keeper.
So it's
indeed. We'll have to find out all the proportions of what he used. So I'm sure he'll share that with us. So
well, I'll give you the ingredients again if you want to.
Screenshot.
Yeah, if you want to screenshot that and experiment on your own, you know, I got you.
You know, you two, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Our pleasure.
And sharing your stories. I mean,
we got more.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I look forward to sharing more stories and more edutainment.
Yeah, we can do this all day. And I don't know what's up with Tara. I don't know if it's the Zoom thing, but she's usually the laugh of the party. So somehow it became my turn.
I feel like I am the life of the party, just being.
Indeed, with wearing your love glasses.
Yes. Yes, this is what we do, Marshall. We just walk around and just bring joy in the world.
And start conversations.
Yep.
Make people wonder. Mainly, I just like to make them question reality once they've met me.
Okay, that's her. I just want to love all over people. And people are like, I love your love glasses. And I'm like, thank you. I choose to see the world with love. And then we just have really great conversations and we end up in hugs. Well, pre-pandemic we did. Maybe after, it's like elbow bump or something. But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
There's a lot of different ways to get to hugs.
Yep.
Some may just take a year and a half, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we could do elbow bumps and call them hugs.
Mm-hmm. We do what we want.
Exactly.
I don't know if I said that out loud.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Marshall.
I have a feeling Tara may have a bit more of her drink to drink down since she just got a fresh one. It's almost gone.
It's that good,
No, it is. It really is good. So, all right. Well, thank you so much and have a great rest of your night.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Oh, we forgot to show all our stuff.
We did, but it's okay.
Oh, well, what stuff you have to show?
Oh, yeah, we got
shoes.
Oh, that's right. And why the shoes?
Well, first, before she shows that, I'll show you this one. This is her ballot box that I made for her, sparkly.
Oh, indeed.
And what's the deal with this one? It's called the glitter box. But when I said it out loud, everybody thought I called it the litter box. So this was the litter box for the longest time. But I just should have called it Sparkle Box. It just should have been Sparkle Box.
Because at the time, you had to take in your official ballots by like paper, right? So you have to carry them in. So, we always up-level things. We carried them in this beautiful sparkly box.
I wanted it shiny.
So the shoes.
Oh my gosh, those are the shoes.
So I was famous on the campaign trail about the shoes.
Can you sit?
And we can take this off.
Oh, wow.
About the shoes. And so Tara made me an actual campaign pair of shoes with the box and everything.
Wow.
Your logo. Yeah. Because that's the only way they could tell us apart, because if we stand next to each other, I'm a foot taller and everything else, but apparently only the shoes could determine.
People literally walked up and would look at our shoes and determine who was who, when we were separate. So, yeah. And then this was the shirt. So we had the best logo going on.
We had the best swag. We're not going to lie.
Swag, yeah. And we had the bumper stickers And then we had the buttons.
Oh, and the bracelets. Nice.
The bracelets. Yeah. Did we do the night United We Rise? Yeah.
United We Rise.
We had all kinds of fun.
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
really good time. I mean, it was
Lots of
crazy,
good time.
but good.
And we still have like so many people from the campaign are still friends with us. So
Yeah.
Very good.
See, still had some left.
All right. Well, we should make a date for biscuits and gravy at some point.
yeah.
Biscuits and
We
gravy.
always do biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will chat offline about that.
All right.
All right. Have a good night. Indeed.
Bye.
Okay, man. This is the Korean heart.
Ah.
Yeah,
I always get it wrong. This is my heart, and that's what's gonna
yeah,
say.
you got it right off, Marshall.
All right.
The
Smart guy.
Korean heart.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. And
All right,
chat
thank
with you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So, oh my gosh, so much fun. I really adore those two. In case it wasn't obvious. So now as we are starting to kind of wind down a little bit, we have our show and tell. And so, one of the things I love about when you walk around cities, if you take a look on the sidewalk, you can find sidewalk stamps that will tell you about dates, who built what sidewalk. And so several years ago, someone gave me, wait a minute, there we go. So what Del Webb did in his sidewalks, instead of using a concrete stamp, he had a brass plaque made that would bolt in that then had a removable date. So he could just put a new date in and plug that away. Now, if you think you know the name Del Webb, you likely do. He is the guy who built Sun City. And the reason why I thought it would be kind of fun to do him is because just like Wayne Newton, whose life changed because of the Westward Ho, same thing happened to Del Webb. When basically the Westward Ho was having its opening day back in 29, he showed up wearing a suit, and everyone assumed that he must be a really impressive builder because he had a suit. He was the only one who had a suit, and there were other folks around town who were getting ready to build grocery stores, things like that. And so they said, we want you to build our grocery stores. We want you to build our buildings. And so that's where he got his change. That's where he got his career from, was the Westward Ho. So thank you all so much for joining us. Now, we do have coming up next week is the Museum of Indigenous People. We are going to be, actually, I'll still be here, but we'll be talking to their new executive director who just took over that role. He was associate director. And so that's going to be a fun show there in one of the most beautiful buildings in Prescott. So I'm so happy that we're able to have them on. So that will be next Thursday, same time, same channel. And remember, if you have any stories, questions, or things like that, feel free to throw those back to me in either the chat session, or you can throw them out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or email. And again, I want to thank you all so much for being here. And I promised a little video that we made a few years ago about the buckhorn baths, and that's just what we're going to do. So it's a little over 3 minutes long. So enjoy, everybody, and have a great rest of your night. Hi, I'm Marshall Shore, Arizona's hip historian. We're here on the site of the Buckhorn Baths, which is one of the best kept secrets in Arizona. It's one of the first roadhouses that's still around from the late 30s. Because of the baseball history that's here, you've got this amazing sign that was on the late 50s by Glenn Guyette that's still an amazing shape and still lights up, which is pretty cool. And it's got a lot of taxidermy. It's actually the world's largest collection of Arizona animals taxidermy inside. Now, you'll notice it's kind of worn down on its heels, but there's an effort afoot to try and preserve it. So come along and let's go see what the Buckhorn Baths has to show us.
Was at a Bookaroo just 1 week ago tonight. My mama up and she run away. Now I'm asking you, my brother, just confidentially, have you...
Can you imagine having to live somewhere and haul your water for miles? Well, Ted Sliger did just that, got tired of hauling water every day, so they drilled a well. And when they did that, they discovered mineral water. And so with that mineral water, they decided, let's open up some cottages. And it became a resort long before Arizona was covered in resorts. Here we are in the Buckhorn Mineral Wells, which is part of the Buckhorn Baths. This would be the spa. So this was an era of gender segregation. So you have all these rooms on this side that were meant for men, and all these rooms on this side were meant for the women.
Shadows are falling around me. Purple is turning to gray. My heart keeps yearning to soon be returning to someone at the close of a day. Shine on Rocky Mountain moonlight, shine upon the one who waits.
Here we are in the baseball room, where many famous baseball players would come and relax before spring training. So you had folks from the New York Giants and Chicago Cubs. You had Ty Cobb, Gaylord Perry, Willie Mays. All would relax here in their private section of the Buckhorn Baths.
May your outfit be prime and your horse the best you ever sat.